Back when I was in high school I was often the target of bullies. I was never the one to stick up for myself because my confidence was really low at the time. Out of all my bullies, there was this one girl, we will call her Becky. Becky would pretend to be my friend and then out of the blue just be a beach to me. Sometimes she would even get physical and hit me, but then claim it's a joke. One day, she was being more mean than usual. She was making fun of my family for being on benefits and my dad having a health issue. I can't stand people beaching about my family. So when she told me to fill her water bottle up, I did just that. But not with drinking water. I went into the girl's toilets and put her bottle under the water in the toilet bowl. I filled her bottle to the top with water from the actual toilet. It hadn't been used. I returned to the classroom and handed her the bottle, somehow without laughing. I sat down and watched with eagerness. She drank the whole thing within like 5 to 10 minutes. I felt amazing, and she never found out. I still see her quite often. She works in my local store. She's a college dropout. I'm still in university and studying hard. She comes from a financially stable home, and I come from a home in poverty. You don't know how good it makes me feel to see myself making it in life when I came from circumstances that were not in my odds. So to my bullies, thank you for fueling my fire to succeed. My ex-roommate, a 35-year man-child, moved his gamma station from his bedroom to the living room. Now I didn't mind one bit, but then Fortnite happened. Dude would play every free moment. He'd eat dinner at his little desk. He'd cut his nails at the desk and throw them on the floor. Fortnite is life. He'd be wearing these gaming headphones and he'd be talking, yelling, screaming, laughing maniacally, just generally being loud the whole damn time with zero consideration of whatever or whoever is near him. Asking him to tone it down had zero effect. I couldn't be in the living room anymore without going nuts. If I wanted to watch some TV, wanted to work, wanted to cook, eat, read, anything really, I had to do so while trying to ignore his loud bullcrap. Even when I was trying to sleep at night, I would hear him screeching about walls and purple guns, or whatever. I was so done. Until I found the solution. Every time I wanted to do something that needed some silence, I would fire up a massive torrent and allocate all our bandwidth to it. In a couple seconds he'd be disconnected from his voice chat and his game would start to lag like crazy. Him, oh no, not this crap again. Hey, are you also having problems with the internet? Me, yeah, it's a bit sluggish, but I'm just browsing, so it doesn't really bother me. He would then call the internet provider to ask what's up, but by the time he got off hold I would pause the torrent and everything would be back to normal. Well, until he starts screeching again, of course. I work at a Timberland store in the mall, and I was working the line outside the store to control the crowd inside for my co-workers on Black Friday. This one guy got really pissed that we were letting 20 people out but then only 5 people in, so he started complaining, and I tried to tell him calmly that it's just to control how hectic it is cause there's only so many workers here today. He kept complaining and I was trying to ignore him. I legit had my back turned to him watching some of the customers to ensure they don't steal. Then he started cursing at me and I was like, alright, that's it. So I turned around and said something along the lines of, "I'm sorry sir, but if you can't handle waiting in line for a few extra minutes then I suggest you go to another store. In the meantime you're already in the front of the line and you're complaining about the wait when there's 20 people waiting behind you." After that he got even more upset and left the line. Right after he left I let 5 people in and he got so pissed that he tried to get in, but I blocked his way and told him, "Sorry sir, you left your spot, now you have to get in the back of the line." Pretty sure that same customer was caught trying to steal a pair of shoes when he finally got in 15 minutes later. This happened during college. I lived in a house with 2 other guys, and then this guy lived in this back house that originally was a garage that the landlord converted into a studio house thing. This guy, named Mitch, lived in it. Mitch was a deadbeat weirdo loser in his late 20s living in small college town less than a mile from the college. Had no job, don't know what he did for a living, but was always around and super weird. Now that I think about it, he probably had some psychological problems. He did not have a way to set up a router in his little house, so he relied on us. We gave him a password and asked him to split the bill with us. I think he paid us the first 2 bills then stopped after that. We asked him to pay us, but just ignored us for a few months. One day I was messing with the router and noticed on the back of it there was a website address that contained our IP address. Curious to what it was, I typed it in. It has a bunch of internet setting and whatnot. In addition, it showed all the computers and devices that were connected to it and a setting to shut off the internet for individual devices. So I shut off his internet. After a few days he comes around and asks what is wrong with the internet. I play dumb and say IDK it's been working. He proceeds to bring his laptop in and mess with the router. After 30 minutes or an hour I log in and turn his internet back on so he would leave my house. As soon as he leaves I turn his internet off. This infuriated him and he lost it. This continues for a while and he eventually gives up. Dude prob went 6 months without internet. I later learned he started using his phone as a Wi-Fi hotspot for his internet, racking up a crapload of data to his plan. I had a lot of fun with this one. TL. Dr. Dude living in the back house of the property we were renting did not pay to split the internet with us, so I shut it off for him. Just a week ago, me and a friend went to go see Frozen 2 with our parents and our younger siblings. It was the second day of being open, so there was a long wait outside due to the movie being popular. I see out of the corner of my eye 3 teenage kids about our age with a bag of groceries and a frozen pizza. That was pretty weird considering that they were in line for the movie and didn't have any way to heat up the pizza. So anyways, we finally got in line for concessions, and guess who was in front of us? None other than the 3 teens themselves. I see that one of them has a huge square in their sweatshirt. I don't know where the bag of groceries went. Me and my friend sat down on our own away from the little kids. We weren't exactly happy to find out that the 3 teenagers were behind us. Almost immediately, the problems started. First, they were talking and laughing extremely loudly. Then, they started kicking our seats. There's nothing that ticks me off more than when people do that. Especially people who know better. The icing on the cake is when they started taking selfies with the flash on. This continued on for a good 10 minutes. Pretty much everyone was getting annoyed and they were told to stop more than once. My friend just leaned over to me and said he'd be right back. He returns about a minute later. Not 30 seconds later, the owner of the theater comes over and talks to them about what they did. Once he left, they were quiet for the rest of the movie. I asked my friend, quietly, what he told them. He told the guy everything. That's what you get when you aren't quiet in the movies. My stepfather was abusive verbally and physically. He was also an avid tea drinker, were British, and would drink huge pint mugs of it at a time. He would have about 10 or so of these a day. The thing about this wanker is that he wouldn't make them himself. He would yell for my brother or I and we would have to drop everything and make him his tea. I actually don't drink it because I can't stand the smell anymore after being a tea servant. It didn't matter if we were playing, doing homework, inside, outside, still in bed, he would yell and you would have to go running. One day he decided that I was going to make him his next cup of tea. I was upstairs revising for my A-levels and he yelled for me. I tried explaining I was revising, but zero craps were given by this lovely man. So I made the tea, but I put some extra ingredients in it. A pinch of mustard powder, a pinch of salt, dust from the top of the cupboard, him not joking, him being serious, and then I got a little of the dog's drinking water, which usually had some drool in it, and put that in too. I was crapping myself when I gave it to him. I was convinced that I was going to get another few slaps round the head, his favorite punishment, but at this point I was committed, so I went back upstairs. He didn't call me again for a few hours, but when he did he told me that the cup of tea I had made for him was the best he'd ever had. I felt good though, knowing what I knew, and having a little smile every time I walked past the dog's drinking bowl. I took my exams, and then moved out the next week. I passed them all. Years ago I was at a friend's house playing board games. We were playing Settlers of Catan which I brought. I did something kind of stupid during gameplay and my friend's roommate started making fun of me, implying I was stupid. At the end of the game we were going to play a different game but roommate took all the fun out of it, so I decided to leave. I packed up my backpack with the games I brought and stuck around a bit to finish my beer. Roommate said something along the lines of, yeah, you should try reading the Settlers of Catan instructions or something. That is if you know how to read. My friends kind of laughed nervously, but were mostly doing that sharp inhale through their teeth and going like ooh, ouch. I finished my beer and said thanks for a good time. Went to the upstairs bathroom, which I knew was the one the roommate used since it was closest to her bedroom. I pulled the toilet paper roll off the insertable little pin piece, put that piece in my bag and left. Enjoy having to replace that mean-spirited beach. Went back a few more times after that and went upstairs to check if they had replaced that, and they never did. Had their toilet paper roll on the floor by the toilet. I never gave it back. Sweet revenge. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, a like and a comment would mean a lot in YouTube's world. Share with us if you would have done things differently, and don't forget to support the original authors with an upvote. Links are in the description. Peace out, and catch you tomorrow.